Hey everybody, it's Ken here with another lantern video and my first one of 2022. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I know I'm a latecomer. Been under the weather a little bit, guys. You gotta deal with me. I'm sorry. I apologize, but it's not that I forgot about you. It's just that I just couldn't get my act together to get another video up. And finally starting to get on the other side of this here and feeling good. And we're back with another video. So yeah, I want to start out. I got some new additions to the family here. Had a lot going on. And then after I show off these, I'm going to do a little bit of a talk about fuels. I actually got a couple requests from a few subscribers a while back to ask me to do a little talk about fuels. And I really haven't had a chance to get at it. So yeah, let's make this a good video. And we'll throw that in there on the back side of the video. But I'm hoping everybody's having a good year so far. For me, it's been, yeah, well, it's going to get better. I know it's getting better now, but anyway, few new additions to the family. Look at this little sweet little thing here I picked up. Sabbat 158, number 158, made in Germany, and I believe this particular model is called the Botella because it's sold. It was originally sold. They're actually really hard to get now for some reason or another, but I was able to come across one of these things. No bail handle. It's got a chain to hang, and it's got the lampshade on it. And from what I gather, it's similar to the one of the Furhans. I forget. Don't quote me actually on the number, but it's supposed to be like an equivalent of that. And I just put some fuel in there recently, and figured we'll bring it out and give it a light up, see how she does. And it's kind of a little different. So it's a lefty. It's got the lift action on the left there, which I'm not really too used to. So I'll have to get in there and do my best to see how I can light it. Yeah, I always want to go to the right and close it up, but these are supposed to be really excellent little lanterns, and wow, yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at the flame on that thing. This thing is a beast for its size. My goodness, that is going to be amazing. And we'll probably do another video on that and a nice spring night out in the gazebo. I'm going to hang that. I have a nice chain right in the center of the gazebo, and that's one of the things that really caught my eye about this. It was like, this would be perfect to hang out there. These are great little lanterns. I can't believe the flame on that thing. That thing has got such a big flame. That is going to be awesome. Oh, we'll set that there and let that burn. Then I came across another nautical lantern here. Now I believe this is called a binnacle cabin lantern. I think they used to kind of use these back in the cabins of the old sailing ships. And it's got a wedge burner. I think it's an antique. I don't think this is a reproduction. It's all brass, all solid brass. It's got the nice wedge burner, and really well made. And it's got, I guess, the top is like to adjust the airflow. It's a threaded, actually comes all the way out. And it's kind of a new, yeah, see, you can actually remove it, and threads back in there. I guess it's to adjust the airflow. You could choke it all the way down, or you could leave it open a little bit. But yeah, why don't we go ahead and give that a light up? I'll just start it low, because from what I remember, I think these things actually climb up pretty good as they go. But yeah, nice another little piece to the collection there. And then to my right, your left, I actually have an old piece. This is I've had this minus the shade. This is a Dietz 76, and I recently came across the gentleman actually on eBay, but he does have his own website, which I'll leave a link in the description below. Stormcap, and he sells a lot of different size shades for different lanterns. And I just so happened to run across one of his listings on eBay, and it said this was for the one of the Furhan. And here we go with the number again. not too good on the top of my head. I'm not sure which Fjordheim, but he did mention the Dietz 76 original. Now the Dietz 76, I have a few of these in my collection, and believe it or not, it's like one of my least favorite lanterns out of my whole collection. I just have them because they're part of the collection. Believe it or not, I think I have 3 of them, and I didn't buy any one of the 3. I was given, I had a good friend at work that gave me 2 of them, and then my father actually picked me up one at a yard sale or some kind of sale or whatever, and I have yet to actually ever even buy one. And you know, everybody knows lanterns knows the story of the 76. It was just kind of a Chinese lantern that was made later on. There's not really a great history to it. It's not really too great of a lantern. I mean, for a lantern this size, I would actually prefer the Comet, which is a little smaller. But nevertheless, I saw this opportunity to get the shade for it, and I thought, well, why not? You know, life gives you lemons, why not make lemonade? And look at that. Look how fantastic that turned out to be looking. And yeah, so why don't we give that another lefty, by the way, but why don't we give that a light up, and let's just see how that shade accents the kind of lackluster of the 76. But I think it's going to actually turn out to be a fairly nice lantern now with that. When you show off that shade like that, look at that. And it wasn't a whole lot of money. I think I paid, gosh, I don't even remember, somewhere around like $28 or something for it and that was, you know, the shipping. It came right from Germany too. It was right, you know, shipping from Germany and whatnot. And like I said, I'll leave a link to the description below. He does make shades for several models. However, the site is in German, so you have to kind of translate it and you know, interpret it. Or if you understand German, that's fantastic too. But or like I said, check out his eBay listings, and you know, he does sell some things on eBay, and that's where I purchased that. But I think that's another little fantastic looking little lantern. Now, I mean, I just love the shades on these things. I can't get enough of that. And he does make one for the Metal Globus. I saw on his 107, the Romanian made Metal Globus 107, that I might have to investigate that and getting one of those for my Metal Globus. And it actually looks almost the same size as that. It would fit the Dietz Jr. also, and I would really like to get one of these for the Dietz Jr. for some reason. Been kind of wanting one of these too, so that may be a future purchase of mine coming up. And you know, if I get that, of course we'll knock out a video on that too. But yeah, so these are my new additions to the family for 2020. Let's see how the Dominical's doing. It's doing okay. Not the brightest thing. I could probably crank it up a little bit, but yeah, I don't want to burn things out. So aside from that, like I said, I was going to do a little bit of a talk on fuels. So why don't I set these aside and give you my rundown of what type of fuels to use in lanterns, or what I use. Now, I go back with lanterns probably about 40 years, and 40 years ago, this is what I started using. Now, this is a liquid paraffin lamp fuel. Now, I know a lot of people say they don't recommend using these because the paraffin, you know, it may clog the wick up a little bit, and you know, maybe in a colder climate it might congeal a little bit or something. But I go back approximately 40 years. This is what I started out with. In fact, believe it or not, my original camping lantern that I got, that was a Dietz Air Pilot that I've used, you know, on and off camping for many years, and it still has the blue fuel in there. It still has it in there. Now, one thing I found out about that I do love about this fuel is that it doesn't evaporate like any other fuel. Like I said, I got this, you know, I've used it on and off for a while. I mean, I was a big camper, you know, way back in the heyday, and then I kind of just put the thing on the shelf for years and years until I got back into lanterns, and then of course bought other lanterns. And you know, going back then, I guess Raven fuel back then was the regular lamp oil, which you know, this here is a very good product that I was using also for a long time, and that is, you know, more recommended over this. Although this does work, it's still in there. And I know a lot of people say that, you know, you shouldn't really use it with like a 7/8. It should be under a 7/8 inch wick. This is a 7/8 wick, and like I said, I've used this for many years and many times, and I've not had a problem with it. Now, the only thing that I do maybe notice now, since I'm using some other fuels, is it may not be as bright as like a kerosene alternative, like a lamp oil, or basically what I really like now is the clean heat, and I like that for the price. That's probably about the cheapest. Oh, excuse me, my clock is going off there, but you know what it is, it's time. So this right now I believe is about $13 a gallon, and the lamp oil I believe is about, I think, $8 a half gallon. So if you're looking at that, but yeah, like I said, so I mean, and this is pretty much a dinosaur these days. I mean, this is, you can use it if you find it, but like I said, it's you know, it's kind of not recommended in a lot of different sites online, and but it does work, and I've never had a problem with it. Although here, for example, let me bring up a D-light. Now this is a very comparable lantern to the Air Pilot, and the D-light that I have is, it does have the this is the clean heat is in this D-light, and I do believe it burns a little brighter. I do believe it burns better. I mean, you'll see there's a more solid it's hard to describe, but now I'm going to get a little bit of glow frost, but we'll let them burn. They'll warm up. You'll see there's kind of more of a higher light output, I think, from this fuel. But like I said, however, if you come across this, or you know, on a flea market cheap or something, you can use it, and you know, they'll say it'll clog wicks. That wick has been in there for 35 plus years, and it still works. And if you do think it clogs the wick, you know, wicks are cheap, folks. You know, they're very cheap too. So you can, and one thing, if you do switch fuels, I would always recommend yanking the wick and you know, sticking with the same wick for the same fuel if you want to switch your fuels. And so yeah, last but not least is of course 1K Caro, which I use too, and this actually is a little bit cheaper than the clean heat, but I don't know, a lot of people complain about the smell. You know, they say it's a little bit of a smell, although it hasn't really seemed to bother me. I mean, one thing, if you do get it on your hands, it's really tough to get the smell off your hands. But I use this, and I have some outside lanterns that I leave permanently outside, and I use that for my outside stuff. But that's pretty much, you know, one of any of the fuels that you can use in these. I mean, one thing I do strictly advise is do not use Coleman lantern fuel, the white gas. That is for the Coleman pressure lanterns. That is super flammable stuff, and will run away with you if you put it in these. Do not use that under any circumstance in these kerosene lanterns. But you know, and also the other thing is, I hear a lot of people are talking about using diesel fuel. That you kind of got to be careful with too, because there's a lot of additives in that stuff, and you know, I don't really know what kind of vapors and fumes that's given off. I mean, supposedly there's videos. I mean, you could check on YouTube here, and you'll see people burn. I mean, you know, they claim it burns fine. I've never tried it, and I'm a little bit worried, you know, about the additives and breathing that stuff, and I wouldn't recommend it, really. I mean, for a survival situation, if you're if that's all you have and you're outside and you want to kind of keep away from it, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a fire hazard. Typically, I think it will probably burn fine because, like I said, I've seen videos. But for you know, just your own human biology, I wouldn't recommend breathing that stuff. In fact, even, you know, you got to be careful supposedly with this stuff too. But it is supposed to be more inert than the diesel. So that's my take on fuels. And like I said, you know, haven't had a problem with this, even though it's pretty much a dinosaur these days. This, no lie, I've probably had this for over 30 years in my garage, and that was my go-to back in the heyday. And believe it or not, I used to buy it at Kmart. And speaking of Kmart used to sell their own, I don't know if you can get that in the shot, but they used to sell their own brand, Dietz Jr. They used to stamp them. Dietz used to make Kmart stamped lanterns right in the camping section. We'll give you a shot of that later on. But yeah, it's a Dietz Jr. and that's when I used to go camping. I used to go there to the camping section, get some lanterns, go to the candle section, get the fuel, and I've used that for many years. So but like I said, my favorite stuff right now is probably the clean heat, and the 1K Kero burns excellent, and I use that in my outside lanterns when I don't even smell it outside. I haven't tried it inside because, you know, like I said, the smell. I mean, I do have an old kerosene heater that I used to use occasionally, and you know, everybody knows the smell of kerosene. It's a love it or hate it type of thing, you know, especially if you have a missus at home that gets on your case about. I mean, me myself, I probably don't mind too much, but you know how that goes. So being at that, folks, I think I'll leave it there. I want to wish everybody a great day and everybody a great year so far, and we'll be back with another video real soon. Thank you for watching. Everybody take care.